Hello, it's Charzubel from North American Server 171. Today I'm here to talk about the topic of damage formula. And you may recall that the last video I did was on stats. And after doing this video, I was having a conversation with two of my friends, Craig and Ino-chan. Because they had so many questions on the stats and on the formula, it just led me to the conclusion that I needed to do a video on the damage formula. So we're going to discuss that today. If you like what you hear, please go ahead and like this video down below, and also subscribe, because I intend to do a lot more content. I really have a big plan for doing stuff on mentor-mentee type tasks to just help with that process. But today, let's go ahead and get right into the damage formula. Okay, the first thing I want to say about the damage formula is that a lot of this is just my speculation from looking at the hero tab and the verbiage that they provide on the different stats. No one has really seen the damage formula, I think, outside of a developer, and so on some of these things we're dividing, it might actually be subtraction, and some of the things that we're looking at as subtraction could even be division. But I think this is my best guess, and actually working on these from this angle still won't hurt you, because the basic thing is we're able to determine what stats we need so that we can defeat our opponents. And really that's the main goal of this, is just so you get an understanding of which stats you need to go after where and how they work. And even if we're not sure it's a division or subtraction, at least we're able to increase a stat that will help us win battles. If you remember my stat video, the diagram I provided there had the damage formula cramped in the middle of the page, and it really wasn't that easy to see. It's probably not that helpful. So I went ahead and I made this new page, and just actually Kriya kind of gave me the idea. She did a little one by hand just while we were chatting that evening, and I said, let me take that and use that, and she was cool with it. And then I came up with another idea while I was talking with Ino-chan about, you see how we get total skill damage and total skill crit damage? Well, the way you should think about damage is like, whenever you attack, you have two balloons, and you're throwing both of those balloons at your target at the same time, and one of those balloons hits, and that's total skill damage, and that, so that's one component of the damage. And that second balloon hits, which is your total skill crit damage, which adds to whatever damage has already occurred. It's possible that one component hits while the other totally misses, I believe. So you can have your regular damage hit or your crit damage hit and not the other. So it's two separate components that need to really be looked at when you're attacking. You want to make sure you get as much as you can in both of these so that you can be effective and win your battles. So in the first part, or the first balloon, is total skill damage, and so that's based off your attack skill minus your opponent's defense skill. And so your gems come into play with that. Just go back to the stat video and look how I presented those stats there, and you'll see where all these things come from. And so once that's computed, your attack minus your defense, whatever that sum is, it's modified by your damage buff divided by your damage resistance. So that will either increase your damage or it will decrease your damage, just depending on how those two different statistics are compared to each other. And then you just multiply that by the skill damage that you had before, and that gives you your final skill damage. Once that's done, then we can go to the second balloon, which is our total skill crit damage. And there, we look at the one component that a lot of players, I think, ignore. And this component is ignored just because it doesn't have gems for it. It comes from other places. So most players just may not even know it exists. But this determines how often a crit occurs. So you really want to pay attention to this. and build it through your crystals and quartz and just all the different places where you can find this, constellations. So crit damage minus your crit damage resistance determines how frequently this occurs. So if you want to have a lot of crit damage or a lot of crits, then you want to build up this component so you create those crits. You know, someone like Li Qingzhao, you definitely want to get that built up. If you don't want to get hurt by crits, then you want to find ways to decrease this crit damage resistance to maybe create opportunities where it doesn't happen to you. Once the crit does occur, then we just go to our crit minus our resistance, our res. You take those two, and that determines what your actual crit skill damage is. And then certain skills that characters have may further modify that, just depending on the character or hero that is being played. And so once you get both those components, then you just add them together, and that's how much damage that the target takes. And that's how the damage formula goes. And just remember that, you know, this is my speculation. This is what I believe, how it works. I could be very wrong, but I think it's at least safe enough to use this for building your character. And I'm thinking now I will try to do some videos. Maybe I'll take Bao and do some arena fights just to see if we can actually look at these damages and get an idea if it's subtraction or division, and maybe it'll help us become better players. All right. Once again, I want to thank Krea and Ino-chan for just having this conversation, because I think this is really important to know. And if you have questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments below. And if you see anything that's wrong, or if you see something that you can add to this conversation, please go ahead and add that too, because we really want to make players educated on how damage works and what they can do to be as powerful as possible when they're going against bosses and others in PvP. All right, that's it for today. Don't forget, please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want more content. And I thank you for listening. Good day.